Good morning, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kat, and if you are new here, we are baking our way through this cookbook, Some of My Best Friends Are Cookies by Emelia Jackson. We are in our third recipe this week. Last week I made the chocolate chip cookies, and we had my nephew staying with us for a few days, and the kids went through both batches of cookies in 4 days, 5 days. So we're making the next recipe in the book, which is the Chewy ginger molasses cookies. They sound like something my husband and I are really going to enjoy. And we'll see what the kids think. I've got my coffee, my apron on, and I've got all my ingredients out, so we're just going to get straight into it. The first thing that we need to do is weigh out our flour. It's just plain flour for this recipe. And we need 330 grams. To the flour, we're going to add our bicarb. One teaspoon. And our spices. We need half a teaspoon of ground cloves, two and a half teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of ginger, and 1 teaspoon of salt. We're just going to whisk these together to combine them. So we set that aside, and we're going to weigh out our butter and our sugars. So we need 180 grams of unsalted butter. I had 120 grams left in that packet, so I'm just going to take about another 60 grams. Perfect. Just going to dice this into cubes and pop it into the bowl. And we're just going to weigh our sugar directly into this bowl. We need 110 grams of brown sugar. and 110 grams of caster sugar. And we're going to cream these together until they're light and fluffy. That looks pretty good to me. So now we're going to add our molasses, and I'm just going to weigh that straight into the bowl. And we want 70 grams of molasses. Which is about that much. We're also going to add 1 egg. And mix to combine. You can really smell the molasses. That's nice and combined. And so we're just going to add our flour mixture straight in. And I'm going to combine this on a low speed so that the flour doesn't go everywhere. So I have mixed that until it's just combined. And now we're going to measure out our cookies. Now the recipe says to use 40 grams of dough. So I am just going to see how much 1 scoop from my biggest cookie scoop weighs. $61. So let's try the next size down. $31. I think we'll stick with the slightly smaller. Mostly because when my kids take them in their school lunch boxes, smaller fits better in the lunchbox. And it says that we'll get about 20, but given that I'm going a little bit smaller, we'll see how many I get. So we got about 25 cookies and we need to roll them in raw sugar before we bake them. And now my oven is preheated to 170 degrees and we're just going to get these into the oven. These need to bake for 14 minutes, so while they're baking, I'm going to do a bit of cleaning up. Now I need to leave those cookies on the tray to cool for about 15 minutes and then we'll do a taste test. So I let them cool on the tray for about 15 minutes and now let's give them a test. They look really good. Those are really, really nice. They remind me a little bit of very, very soft gingerbread, which I suppose stands to reason with the molasses and the ginger. The sugar on the outside gives it a really nice crunch, but the inside's nice and soft. Those are going to be a hit with my family, I think. I hope you will join me next week. We'll be making the next recipe in the book, which is meringue kisses. If you would like to follow along, I would love it if you would subscribe. I will pop another one of my videos here that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. I can't wait to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.